So now we're going to go in and visit our classroom and see how it's been updated now that some students, or in this case, a student, has answered some questions, answered the assignment. So we're going to go to classroom.google.com to go and visit. We are going to select the relevant class, again, Mr. G's class 1. We're going to go in here. And we're going to see that the status of some of these has been updated. We're going to notice that we now have one student done, one student not done for each of these. And of course, the announcement is still just an announcement. It's just sitting on our screen. Doesn't do much more beyond that. So if we go ahead and we look at the trig assignment, we can click in, we can go in here, and we can see what the status is on each of these individual things. We can say, oh, Brianna's done, Joanne's not. We can go ahead and we can go in here and we can add a grade. What we can do is we can change what it's out of. We can, if it's just for formative, we can say, no, this is going to be ungraded. We can change that to ungraded. We can update that. And so it's not going to be there. It's just going to simply be an ungraded thing. What we can do is we can add some comments down here. So if Brianna had submitted something, it would show up down in here, and we could add some comments like, you did a great job here. Maybe next time use a spell check. And we can go ahead and we can post that. And what we can do is if it is graded, we can go ahead and we can add the grade to it. And if we hit return, it will then be sent back to the students. But if we don't have to do that right away, we can still add a grade. And even if we don't want to send it out, we can just add some grades to each of the students, and only upon the time that we're actually done do we hit return. So that's what it looks like for an assignment. Again, it gives us a listing of who isn't done. Joanne's not done. When it comes to questions, let's look at the short answer question that we did. So what is the process to determine the hypotenuse of a right triangle? If we click on the question, we can go in and we can see, again, who's done, who isn't done. We can decide whether we want to add a grade to it. Maybe this time we'll add a grade. At a glance, I can see what Brianna's answer is. I can say, oh, Brianna said I would use Pythagorean theorem. Oh, that's good. Maybe she should have said something about what the actual formula was. So we can click in here and we can add a grade. So maybe I'm going to say that's 85. So this is where we have the choice of returning it to students or not returning it. If I click on the individual, I can go in and I can add a comment to here, and I might say, maybe you should have stated the actual formula, and I'm going to post that so she can see that feedback. And I can either return it right now, or I can wait until I get more feedback from other students. So if I go back, I have that done. I can go back in again. If I need to make an update, I can change things. Again, I can click in here and I can see the feedback that I've provided. Maybe now I'm going to return it. So the student will be notified, and you can check any grades you've left. So we can add a private comment here. So we're just going to return that, and it's going to send that back off, and Brianna will be able to see how she's done on that particular question. And so it now says we don't have any left as a status of just being done. Now they have that one has been returned and one is not yet done. Whereas if I go in and I look at the multiple choice questions, we can go in and we can say, yep, Brianna's done a great job. You can add a grade. Actually, you know what, this time I'm going to leave it ungraded. I'm going to update this. And so that's what that's going to look like. So we can see what the distribution of student answers are. See, some are done, some are not done, and off we go. So that's what it's going to look like. Again, it's nice that we can see at a glance how many students have answered, how many students haven't answered, excuse me. We can see, that we've returned something. We can kind of check at a glance what exactly is going on. We can, if we're done with any one of these, if we don't want to see it anymore, we can delete it, we can get rid of it. So that's what it looks like.